Greetings, ladies and gentlemen, from the House of Representatives. This is your state representative, Carrie Condotta. Well, the budget forecast is out, the thing we were all waiting for, and not so good news. Down another $700 million for the next biennium and about $80 million in the current biennium. So now the work begins to try to find a balance, find a way to get to the end of this session, which is just a few weeks away, in some form of a budget that makes sense. It is going to be a difficult time. The short-term implications are maybe even more difficult than the long-term because we only have 3 months to adjust this supplemental budget. This is the current budget, which is $80 million short, plus there was some additional shortfall that we hadn't dealt with yet. So we still have work to do, which would cover about a 3-month period in the supplemental budget. So we're going to have some very difficult things in April, May, and June to deal with. And then we go on to the larger budget, which is July 1st, 11 through 13. That's a 2-year biennium. That one's down about $700 million, which puts the projected deficit at about $5 billion. Now that's based on a projected budget of about $37 billion, which is about a 15% increase. So that's really not likely that that would ever happen, but we have to deal with about $32 billion. Now the good news is that revenue is up 13.5% if their projection holds, and the total amount of revenue, $32.2 billion, is about as high as we've ever collected. So it's not exactly the Titanic, but because of all the new programs that were introduced over the last few years and all the promises that were made and all the accelerators that go with these programs and their expansion, the momentum has been created that we have to pull that momentum back. We're going to have to shrink down. We're not going to be able to fulfill all the promises. We're not going to be able to continue all the programs that came out in the last few years when times were better. So those decisions will have to be made. This is a matter of priorities. Now the question is can everybody agree on the priorities? Some want to favor more on education. Some want to put more in social services. Others don't want to add any revenue. Some want to add some revenue. So these are all the questions that have to be answered over the next few weeks. That's what we'll be doing. We'll be back on the floor doing policy bills because we have reached the cutoff for the Senate. So this is where we swap the bills back and forth. The Senate bills are now in the next few days done, and they'll come to the floor. We'll vote them out, and then we'll spend the rest of the time concentrating on that budget. We'll be reporting to you weekly to let you know how it's going and try to keep you up to date on how it goes. Our biggest concern is, can we get out of here on April 24th? Can we come to some agreement? It is looking tougher daily given that revenue report. But we'll keep you posted. We appreciate your comments, your emails, your calls, whatever the form of communication that you prefer. Please let us know. And know that I read every one of those communications. I can't always respond quickly because the volume is so high right now. But I do read all that information that you send me, and I do appreciate the input from all of you. So with that, we will take a break and be back next week to tell you more about the budget. Thanks for listening. This is Carrie Condotta from the 12th District.